Jack, let's go! Oh, lot to be happy about. Lot to be happy about because freaking it's not a sweep. Dallas survives. I hate when we have an all-time great matchup set up where it's like, okay, this could go either way, and then it's an absolute dud. For example, the last Super Bowl, Chiefs and 49ers, that should have been an all-time classic. For the first 58 minutes of the game, it was absolutely boring. What was it? Wasn't it like 6-9 or 6-6 or something? So now we have this series that got out of hand. It's 3-0. Dallas is down. Finally, like how Mavericks fans had thought and how we kind of all speculated, where it's like, one of these games, it's going to happen. The Mavericks are going to explode. And they did, and it was glorious. I mean, Exum. Lively. Dude, Lively's dunks. There was a lot of, oh my gosh. He brought the house. Hardaway Jr. there. Like, he's subbing NK, game's over, and then he's making back-to-back threes. And he has himself a handful of points. I mean, Kyrie had 21. Luka had 29. I mean, this thing, it was a masterpiece, and it was only a matter of time that we knew that the dam would break and eventually all the pressure would get to the Celtics because, again, this is my own opinion. I'm not trying to sound like a total hater. When there is a competent opponent in an elimination game, something happens to these Celtics. And people who have watched the Celtics, they know about it. Like, it happened in the elimination games against Miami Heat in last year's playoffs. Game 7, may we remind you, in the TD Garden. When Jimmy Butler absolutely, obliterated them. Game 6 of the 2022 NBA Finals. It's one thing when you beat the Pacers with Tyrese Halliburton, Mitchell, Butler, every single team that they had played up until this point in the elimination game, whether they're home or on the road, because yes, their 7-0 record on the road is pretty impressive. The star player of that other team was never there. And so a lot of people are going to talk about that, and that's going to be a big gripe. And Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Celtics fans for the rest of their lives will be trying to defend this ring, just like the MJ versus LeBron debate till the end of time. Okay, just because the context of how they won. Oh, it was an onslaught, and it was so much fun to watch. Now, I will say this, and I said this last night as the Panthers took a 3-0 series lead on the Oilers. And I have a weird feeling. I'm not saying that this feels like 2016. No, not in any way, shape, or form. With things that happen like that, like, it just happens. And you don't feel like it's going to happen. Like, it just happens. Nobody predicted the Cavs would come back. Now that the Mavericks have finally woken up and stuff, there's a part of me that believes that Game 4 will stretch into Game 5. And the pressure of how much the Mavericks just beat their ass. Like, I joked that Tatum would have 19 points. Okay, 12 of them in the first half. He disappears in the second half. Jaylen Brown's the only one that contributes because Drew Holiday's nowhere to be seen. And, Brown has to carry with 25-plus points. I just think with it being a closeout game, and just because I like trolling and stuff, where Jason Tatum is suspect at best in elimination games, I think Jaylen Brown's probably going to be the top scorer. Drew Holiday's probably going to disappear. Tatum's probably going to disappear. Give Tatum, 19 points. But then, out of his 19 points, 12 of them were in the first half or something like that. And, yeah. Okay. Brown had 10? And Tatum had 15. Dude, I made that as a joke. Like, I said that as a joke that he'd disappear. There's something like the pressure of trying to lift that 18th banner. I am telling you, like, with how much they got their ass whooped tonight, I'm telling you, there's something about a team that's playing with nothing to lose. We saw it with the Panthers all last year in last year's playoffs when they went on the run to go play Vegas in the Stanley Cup. We saw it with, we saw it with the Chiefs in just this recent playoff where they were the away team against the Bills and against the Ravens. Like, Mavericks already know, okay, this series is written off. We're going to lose this one. Cavs fans in 2016 know about it. The Bucks fans in 22, after going down 2-0 to the Suns, it's 3-1. History is not on the Mavericks side, so of course it's like, we have nothing to lose. And I'm telling you, like, teams that play with nothing to lose, oh my gosh, they cause so much destruction and stir. Dude, I joked. Mavs in 6. It's still happening. There's no way that this does not affect Game 5. There's no way. There's no way. Like, that flight back, from Texas to Massachusetts, Like, it's going to be a long, miserable flight. And, dude, I mean, Mavericks have nothing to lose, dude. So I could see them, just like how it was in last year's playoffs, where, Trae Young and the Hawks were down, 3-1 in that series or something? And it's in TD Garden. And Trae Young sinks a 3 at the buzzer to send it and force another game. You know what I mean? Like, the series was out of hand. Like, they weren't going to win. They had nothing to lose. Young, boom. And he hit the shiver. Like, I just think that something like that's going to happen. Okay, these games have been good. Like, Game 2's been good. Game 3's been good. Game 4, was really good in the first half. And then, it turned into a blowout. But it's like, with how well this series has kind of been on a game-to-game basis versus overall, like, there's no way that this doesn't get to at least 6. Like, I can see it getting to 6. And then we'll see what happens, because if Luka and Kyrie show up like how they did today, the bench shows up like how they did today, defense is able to shut down their star players, it's going to get really interesting if this thing goes back to Dallas for Game 6. It's going to get really interesting. JJ Redick talked about that a little bit on his podcast, I think with Jefferson, because they were talking about when the Cavs came back from 3-1. But that's my opinion on that, is like, and Luke has been saying it too, like, it's not over till it's over, and I also believe that too. But, like, man, this is either the start to, like, the greatest comeback of all time, because the Celtics have had a historic run in these playoffs. There is a little asterisk on it, but, like, the Celtics have had a great dominant season. They're the number 1 seed, and if they blow a 3-0 lead, that cements Luka, like, top 70, definitely NBA top 75 all time. But, like, they will never stop talking about that. 2016 Warriors and then the 24 Celtics will live in infamy. And oh my gosh, how fun would that be? So this is either the start to something or we forget about it because Celtics winning Game 5. So that's my reaction on that. See you next time.